Hi, my name is Michael Kirsch.
I am Cynthia Cushing. I'm the co-coordinator for the Maine Coalition for Social Connection, and I live just outside of Augusta, Maine.
I live in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I am the executive director of Mingle Space Org, a social infrastructure initiative. My work focuses on awareness of social infrastructure that is missing from our society. Um, I believe that we've made it very difficult for ourselves to talk to each other in a lot of public places and venues and events. And I don't think it should be so hard to talk to strangers. And a lot of people actually really want to talk to each other. And so this all came because a few years ago, I had moved it was my second city alone and not knowing a lot of people and having a friends group, which I did have back home. And I always thought it would be a lot easier to meet new people. But it was a lot harder than I expected. And this went on for a number of years, going to a lot of events, finding it kind of awkward to want to walk up and talk to strangers, even though it seemed like in a lot of places people were open to that. And one day it was like kind of like a lightning bolt. It suddenly hit me. I thought, while I was at this event, they said, why don't events like this create um, areas where everyone is open to just walking up and saying hi to anyone. So I thought of it at the time, a social connection zone, right? A connection spot where people are invited to talk to strangers. So I've been working on that project for a couple of years now and visualizing it, demoing it, testing it out, and building up a portfolio of signs that places could use. And the way I like to think about this is, you know, we are in we are now in a recognition phase that social connection is as essential as to our mental and physical health as food and water, as the research by the foundation and its fellow researchers and scientists are making clear. Um, but largely, we're still in the hunter-gatherer phase of social connection. And we really put the burden on individuals to go out and get what they need. Join a club, volunteer, meet like-minded people in an event. It's really on the individual. And we don't with food. We've created grocery stores. We evolve with agriculture, and you can just go out and get it what you need. But we don't have a reliable, dependable way that we give individuals to say, these are the places where you can go to get the social connection you need. So that's my project is enlisting these places. We don't, do we need grocery stores for social connection? No, because we really already have them. We live in a world full of places. Wherever you go, there's people around who actually do want to talk. But we're missing a piece of social infrastructure to make that possible. And so that's been my project. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And the work I do sort of ties in with what you've shared. Um, in the state of Maine, I've noticed that we do not have a state-led organization that connects all of the grassroots events taking place, such as yours, to promote social connection. So, in my role as the co-coordinator for the Maine Coalition for Social Connection, I help advance social connection through the creation and coordination of a website and promotions that will highlight all of the great things going on across the state that people seeking social connection don't know exist. So we convene bi-monthly meetings that bring together both regular members and a steering committee, providing a space for collaboration and idea sharing. These meetings have become a hub for exchanging resources, forming partnerships, and collectively working toward reducing social isolation across the state. So by intentionally building these networks, we're creating a foundation for long-term community connection and support. And one of my ultimate dream goals is that we have a website where anyone can log on and say, okay, I live in this town. What are the social connection things that are happening? And that might include your ideas of, oh, I can go to this cafe and there's a social connection hub, a little place where I can just go and sit and people can come talk to me, things like that. So that's what my work is doing.
Some of the most surprising things as I've gone about this has been the reaction of people, places, and um, really an understanding of what the challenge is. So first of all, I just want to say, so what we did is created a sign portfolio. It's on our website, minglespace.org. Anyone can check that out. And a lot of visualizations and conversation prompts. So we make it easier. And there's research that actually says people really want to get into deep, meaningful conversations with strangers, even though people assume the opposite, that it would be weird to get beyond small talk. But that's what people want. So how do we make it as easy as possible for places to set these up? Because a lot of places could just say, "Oh, that's great. We'll create a social table, little folded white sheet of paper and say social table." But then require all these places to reinvent the wheel, get their own design, and so on. So I thought, well, places will do this if we make a sign, right? Um, and so the first thing I want to say is what's really surprising is how open places were to wanting to do this. They really do want to bring their guests and visitors together. The idea of inviting people that don't even know each other to talk. Some people can say, well, isn't that kind of risky, But actually, places are safe in general. They have the social capital, as you would say. They have the people are already in the bar. So inviting a few strangers to say hi is not a big risk. And they really would like to do it because people could stick around longer and have a better experience. Getting people to talk in the park or coffee shops. So a lot of the places that I would drive around town and stop and share the idea, say, this is an initiative to talk to strangers. Do you want to try it? I've got the sign I can give you. Um, so a lot of places were really excited about it. Two people, I mean, hundreds of people have told me, "Oh my God, we need this. We're missing the permission to say hi." I would love to talk to people, but it's weird. I feel weird about it, or there's just no opening these days. So I guess the overall recognition that there is an issue with this in society, I was kind of surprised by that because for a long time I thought, well, this is just me, I'm new in the city. All of these other people have friends, and so the global or universal recognition that this is an issue. We've made it very difficult to talk to each other. People are on their phones. People always want to say that, yeah, I look around, I'm at the airport. I can't talk to anyone. Everybody's just glued to their phone. Um, One of the biggest kind of learnings in this, though, has been that this is not an event. And as one person, to build a new piece of infrastructure is impossible. And even to get a few places to try it, which we did, a new piece of social infrastructure is not an event. So it needs everything in the metaphor of a company and the B to B to C, right? To get places to put out something that people have never seen and then get to those people to use it. It requires a big organization. It requires a lot of education online, a lot of awareness, a lot of people involved. So it's different. It's different than just a local initiative, a special event, which is easy. You can run it and people stop and see it. But to have an unmanned, unhosted, unstaffed piece of infrastructure in places that everybody has a common knowledge. Oh, this is what this is. I can sit over here and people will come up. That's a much bigger job. So I think that was the biggest thing learned is although I knew it was going to be difficult, it was harder to get um, harder to get full interaction even in the pilots than expected.
Mhm. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think one of the most important things that I've learned in starting this coalition is that it's kind of like what you said, social connection is universal, but it's not one size fits all, right? So while everyone wants to feel connected, and when you mention it, they say, yes, absolutely, we need this, we want this. The ways that we seek and experience connection are personal and varied. So meeting people where they are, listening to their preferences and supporting connection in ways that feel meaningful to them uh, leads to the most positive and lasting impact. I've been surprised by how small intentional actions, like a personal invitation or a thoughtfully designed gathering, which looks different for different people, can ripple out to create a change in both individual lives and community culture. And so that's been my biggest takeaway so far in doing this work.
What I'd like to see and what I feel is necessary to build a culture of connection and the social infrastructure we need is a a different way of looking at the world and building a movement really and awareness of what's missing because it's really hard to see what's missing um, when because it's not there. I guess my metaphor is before imagine you were in a wheelchair. I don't know how long ago it was that we um, didn't have handicap ramps or handicap parking, and you wanted to go into a place that, had really big stairs. And well, there were just some places you couldn't go. So we just excluded that. These people can't come to the event. Sorry, like we don't have the infrastructure for it.
Mhm.
Same thing with parking. It's going to be hard to park so far away. But now it's just assumed, like, of course, yeah, places have to have ramps. They have to have handicap access and because we want this to be inclusive, and a piece of infrastructure that allows strangers to talk to each other, that places create become that would become as common as a drinking fountain, you know, there when you need it, making spontaneous connection just as simple as getting a drink of water. That's something that is for everyone. So this is not about just a few people or people that are having problems meeting people, but when it's something for everyone, a piece of infrastructure like that, we need to create a real demand and awareness for it. And so I guess that my thing is to invite people to put on the glasses that I essentially did. Once I saw this, I couldn't unsee it.
Mhm.
Once I saw what was missing, the permission to say hi that our places could be doing, then I couldn't see it. So I like to, if we could get more people to see the world like that and what's missing, and next time they're at the airport, ask themselves, how would I talk to people right now? Why is it so hard to go talk to any stranger? I'm waiting for my flight. Why aren't we doing that? What about farmers markets? Can you go to the farmers market alone? If you're out with friends and you want to meet a new circle of friends, why don't we have something that just brings people together, right? So yeah, I'd say that, and also the recognition we need for places that they really can do this. They have the power. They can bring people together. Um, they have the places, and so I think once that awareness is ready, then it's very easy to create all the components. And those are the things I was working on, but it's the awareness and the demand for it that's required. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And my hope is it's similar. My hope is that we can create a world where finding opportunities for social connection is easy and accessible for everyone at every stage of life. So imagine an online resource where someone can instantly find local or virtual ways to connect, whether for social activities, support, volunteer opportunities. I'd love to see communities develop systems where if someone needs a ride or other assistance to participate, volunteers are readily available to help. And to move the vision forward, I our group encourages everyone to think collaboratively, sharing our resources, talking about how do we break down the barriers to participation, and including all voices in our program design.